Hey guys, Zen here, and one thing that is no stranger to Rainbow Six Siege are collaborations. We've had this, the most recent collab with Square Enix and their Nier franchise. There's also been the super successful collaboration with Capcom and Resident Evil. They've even done an incredibly unique crossover that collides with Netflix of all things and hosted the Money Heist event in Rainbow Six Siege. But I don't think anyone was expecting what they did next, a full-on collaboration with the WWE. Thorn becomes Becky Lynch, and Blackbeard takes up the iconic Undertaker, and so in this ultra tactical, super hardcore first-person shooter, wrestlers have entered the fold. Yeah, but guys, today's video is big business. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Ubisoft is in big trouble, and what do wrestling WWE operators have to do with that? Well, it would seem that the only thing going right at the company is Rainbow Six Siege. They've attributed that and Assassin's Creed as the two franchises that are moving the company forward. But before we dive deep into that, and there's a lot to talk about, there's a new update for Rainbow Six Siege with a massive buff to Grim that everyone is very happy with, and a nerf to Twitch that cuts deep. Let's get into this. And so guys, it's 2023, and for the new year, you might be looking to start creating videos just like this one. And for that, you'll need editing software. And one of the most popular and easy to use options is Wondershare Filmora. It's the perfect software for both beginners and experts because included are preset templates for effects and filters, transitions, and royalty-free music. Now, Filmora recently added some incredible features like the AI Smart Cutout, and it works exactly how it sounds. It makes it super easy to cut out individual images and assets from a background, which will save you a ton of time to complete other tasks. There's also the AI audio stretch. If you need your music to match the length of a video, you can use the AI audio stretch feature to level your tracks for that perfect fit. It's super easy to do with just one click of a button and it's ready to go. And my personal favorite feature is the adjustment layer. Finally, you can now easily add the same effect to multiple clips and tracks just by editing them into the adjustment layer. It's a fast and simple way to make lots of edits all at once. With Filmora 12, you can go from importing to editing to rendering your videos out and sharing them with the world. And so guys, Wondershare Filmora is free to try. Just click the link at the top of the description of this video and go download Wondershare Filmora and try editing your first project, or upgrade today and see how much simpler you can get the job done. Thanks to Filmora for sponsoring, and now let's get back to the video. So this update to Rainbow Six Siege gives Grim his biggest change yet, and finally, he'll be getting a 1.5 and 2.0 scope as options for the Commando. Now, I know some of you might be saying, well, this is great news, but this is long overdue. Like, Grim has been pretty underwhelming since launch, and I can appreciate that response. The thing is though, the Commando is a force to be reckoned with. Like, it hits like a truck, and on top of that, Grim is a 3-speed operator with an area denial gadget, and even if it's not the strongest gadget on attack, it still serves a valuable purpose. The thing holding this operator back was the lack of zoom sights. He was the only operator on attack, minus shields, without zoom optics. Like, for the attackers, it's an essential part of their loadout, and everyone just expects these attachments for their weapons. And so Grim was totally out of place, and it showed because he was nearly dead last on the graphs. For me, I expect to see lots of Grim play now that he's buffed, and I think Ubisoft was actually scared to add these sights when he launched because of how good this operator and loadout can actually be. Moving over to Twitch though, and it's an entirely different story. So she gets another regular drone, and it's always good to get another drone, so that's great. But they're finally coming for that F2 in the biggest way, because for the F2, they're removing the vertical grip. And this is a pretty big deal because literally 100% of the time, the vertical grip is in play on the F2. It stabilizes the weapon and gives it that silky smooth firing experience that it's been known for. But with it gone, it's kind of challenging to manage, and Ubisoft even acknowledged this. They say, we want to strengthen her support capabilities by adding the extra drone, and at the same time, reducing the power of her weapon. We're aware that the F2 may become a challenging weapon to use as a result, but we believe that the 417 is a good alternative if you want something easier to control. Now, I agree that the 417 is an amazing weapon and a bit underrated, but the F2 is Twitch's only automatic option, and it won't be unusable, but it'll definitely be far less controllable, which makes this one of Twitch's biggest nerfs yet. Now, quickly, we can do a little rapid fire. Frost C1 is getting a damage nerf to 36 from 45. Capitão's Para loses 1 point of damage to 47 from 48. Maverick's M4 is getting the 2.0 scope. Thorn is getting a big nerf to her UZK by dropping the damage to 36 from 45. 44, and Wamai is getting increased recoil on the AUG. So why so many damage nerfs? And why is this happening to some operators who aren't all that popular? Well, the extended barrel is buffed by adding a 15% damage boost to any weapon that has it equipped. They say that if they didn't nerf Capitão's Para and added this new extended barrel, he'd be able to down 2 armor operators in just 2 bullets. And so this attachment buff is super serious, just a huge upgrade. And so all of these harder hitting weapons needed to be adjusted, or it would potentially be just 2 or 3 bullets changing the tide of every single round. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the weapon nerfs, but I get it, only because of how much of a damage boost this barrel is getting. For me, the full 15% boost seems high, but I think they're looking to be aggressive with this and really make people think about if it's worth it to deal with more recoil or get that damage bump. Overall though, you will see much more extended barrel use. More damage output is always a good thing in Siege, and this is no slouch. And so guys, that brings us to Ubisoft. So just to be clear, I've always enjoyed a good Ubisoft game. Like, I know there's kind of the meme of open world games with endless icons on the map, or even with Siege, changes that not everyone agrees with, but they do develop some of the industry's most iconic franchises and have been doing it for a very long time. But if we're honest, Ubisoft has seen better days, and the ship is beginning to sink, figuratively and literally. During a talk with investors, it was revealed that Ubisoft had a net loss of roughly $537 million, and the bad news didn't stop there. On top of the loss of revenue, they'll be delaying Skull and Bones, which has gone through a bit of a development hell and is being delayed again after already being delayed multiple times. And the final nail in the coffin here is the fact that they've canceled another 3 games, which brings that total up to 7 in development games that would have come out, but instead are now just gone. For one of the oldest and most notable publishers in gaming, this is one of the worst times, if not the worst time in their history, because right now they're only doing well with Assassin's Creed, which is their biggest IP, and Rainbow Six Siege. And with these kinds of losses, it actually explains a lot. As we know, Rainbow Six Siege has gone from 2 operators per season to just 1. And then on top of that, the changes and updates that are announced usually take a very long time or are constantly delayed. I mean, the reputation system was at the year 5 reveal panel, and we're just now seeing it live in game nearly 3 years later. Now, as for the operator, yes, balancing and working them into the meta takes up a lot of time. But if there were bigger budgets available or more resources to get it right, then it'd ease some of that challenge. And so Ubisoft is in a really tough spot with all of this, and it's not clear how they're gonna manage it. When you look at the rest of Ubisoft's catalog, not a lot sticks out. The Division is a game that had a ton of interest at first, but the hype really has simmered down over time. Rainbow Six Extraction wasn't really the game I think anyone expected, and a vast majority of people would have rather saw the PvE stuff added to Rainbow Six Siege. Far Cry is solid, but it's usually just more Far Cry, and they've even shut the servers down for games like Hyperscape that just proved to be unsustainable and unsuccessful. But you get the point. I think right now, Ubisoft needs to focus on what's working and what they're super good at, and let go of some of this filler content that just isn't bidding well with the audience. For me, I see Ubisoft as one of the most creative world makers. The games they build are usually creative, but they lack the execution to get people invested in today's era of the gaming industry. And so yeah, this news caught like wildfire on the internet, and a lot of people are saying that it's kind of been Ubisoft digging their own grave, and it's finally catching up to them. And there's some truth to that. Ubisoft definitely has some cleaning up to do. But if Ubisoft were to go under or get absorbed into another behemoth company, games like Rainbow Six Siege would have a new owner and an all new roadmap, which would change a lot. And so what do you guys think? Is this the end for Ubisoft, or would you like to see Rainbow Six Siege in the hands of another developer? Let us know everything in a comment down below. But guys, thanks for watching. Hey, I'm out.